Hey guys, it's Deynon here, back with one of the best survival games in my opinion, Conan Exiles, which has undergone an upgrade of sorts. We have got a sorcery update, which to be honest doesn't tell me a lot. It's been a while since I have played last time, but let's get into it and create our character. Choice is simple, a lady, just because.
This land does not love men.
Obviously, character creator is something I could easily spend a lot of time in since, after all, you're going to spend long hours as this character, so you might as well spend some time beautifying them. Or just like some, create the biggest possible troll you can imagine, just like in New Saints Row. Right, a few finishing touches and let's begin our journey.
During the year of the Cobra, a prisoner captured by unknown means was transported into the exiled lands, crucified and left to die for crimes that they may or may not have committed. Death comes swiftly on black wings, until fate intervenes.
Thirsty, dead woman. Shall I cut you down from that corpse tree? It might kill you. You civilized women are soft. Your lives are not nailed to your spines. Where I come from, we kill our enemies in battle. We don't leave them in the desert to die like dogs. So, you live again, dead woman. This land does not love men. You are marked. Cross the ghost fence wearing that. It might have been kinder to leave you on the cross. Live, love, burn with life, slay and survive. We will meet again, dead woman.
Once the introduction comes to an end, I navigated towards the inscription on the wall and interacted with it, which triggered some kind of a storytelling, presumably about the life within this land.
Behold, bonded one, the very boundaries of civilization. Beyond the passage of our highways lie the wild places of the world, where untamed savages make endless war upon each other. Cannot pass into the endless wastes enslaved. Your bonding prevents it. Return. Follow the road. Any road. All roads lead to the city.
Not entirely sure here, but I got a feeling that the city which was mentioned in the story is this city right here, the unnamed city. This is also the first time I have seen Battle Pass in Conan Exiles, which was kind of what the f moment. Kind of explains why we didn't get paid DLCs for a while, as well as the free sorcery update. Not gonna lie, at this point I didn't really have a clue what it does and how to deal with it, so I decided to explore it later on. Okay, time to move on. First for me, always, is the plant fiber, so we could get at least tiny bit of protection. Conveniently, there was a water skin and a note that I have naturally picked up. I couldn't leave them there.
Here, slaves, bandits and cannibals, exiles from land. Reads this note. I leave the last of my...
Getting closer to my destination, I found this precious creature. Thankfully, previous sessions taught me that these don't bite. And I have found yet another thing I couldn't just leave there.
Gods
Of course.
curse this sandstorm. We were forced to take refuge before the wind scoured the skin from our faces.
Since I have just kept gathering resources, I have accumulated enough to make fiber clothes, which is always something in terms of previously mentioned protection. Tools are a must, and the earlier we can craft them, the earlier we can start creating stuff in greater quantity and quality. And right after, I headed towards our first stone node, as well as our first tree. Next in the queue is the stone sword, however we did not have enough fiber. I wonder why. Since I have just kept gathering resources, I have accumulated enough to make fiber clothes. Once I had enough, I started eyeing out one of the imps as the first victim on our path to glory. I don't need much to be in the middle of potentially deadly encounter, but I knew imps are not that powerful, hence the lack of any form of hesitation. As awkward as this was, he would meet his end in a matter of seconds. This also has prompted need of a skinning knife, as we will need tons of hide in the near future. I will confess right now, I love to collect all possible outfits in this game. And from now on I was just slaying monsters for a brief period of time. Easy source of experience and resources. Once I finished in this area, it was a good time to move on in search of a potential settlement location, when I have encountered our first shellback fighting with an imp that has slaughtered its family. So I decided to finish the business that imp was incapable of finishing. Don't worry, I will gather resources from them in a second. I was in an urgent need of drinking water first. Somewhere along the way, I have decided to spend some of the attribute points, and my personal favorite is Grit, since it allows you to outlast your enemies in combat. Quite useful if you ask me. I couldn't help but to head towards Exiles camp, where you know what happened next. They say, an enemy of your enemy is your friend, meaning I could theoretically join the Crocs team. And partially with his help I could, you know, wipe this area from bad guys, even though clearly we are the bad guys now.
Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
I have also met this guy Arcos. His only role,
Another new
apart
one,
from
eh?
talking to us,
I
is
can smell
literally
it on
to
you.
teach us a new emote.
In the beginning, there were only a few of us. But now, it seems like fresh-faced fools are showing up every week. Not all of them are as friendly as I am, mind you. Watch your step. A lot of desperate people out there.
And here, right in front of us, lays our settlement location, and here is why. Right here is the Croc boss. We will try our luck with him once we get stronger. Way stronger. This area is rich in iron, which quite soon will be one of our main resources for tools and gear. This place is abundant of coal, which will be quite useful for quite a few different projects and fire making. Last but not least, brimstone. Most sought after substance both in early and mid game. This location for our settlement worked well during the purge, so hopefully it will work again. We will start in here by cleaning the area from any creatures that inhabit this place. Thankfully, the only enemies in here are shalebugs, which don't pose that much of a threat. They are also a great source of both hide and meat, so we've got a win-win situation. That would be the last one of them, hence we could start building in here. Let's just collect a few bits here and there. What caught me off guard this time is that I didn't know the construction method has changed. Last time I have played, you could make construction pieces with an inventory, aka handcraft them, but no worries, I have figured it out quite quickly. Construction hammer is what we need. After collecting some stuff, I went right ahead to craft what we need. And started getting used to the new building system. Well, you know, new to me, as you guys have probably experienced it already either on someone's gameplay or firsthand by playing Conan Exiles when the update landed. Anyways, few next minutes consisted of gathering resources that we will use to lay out 3x4 foundations we will then use as our base for building our first shelter. Once the foundations were up, we would require stairs to be able to move onto the foundations without interruptions like jumping onto them. And using this opportunity, we have also learned few other recipes that we will use for our shelter. Skipping ahead like 15 to 20 minutes, we have got something that slowly resembles of a functional shelter. We have got a door, few windows to look at the outside world. You have probably also noticed the chest that resides in the corner. I crafted it since we were constantly over-encumbered, which was quite annoying while gathering resources. But we will also need a roof before sandstone forms and goes through this area. We have survived until our first nighttime, and since we needed more resources to finish building our shelter, we could use some of them to place a little campfire to light up this area, as well as gain ability to cook all of the gathered meat. Right, now we can skip forward to see what the near future brought to us. First of all, we had more base building. We have gained some form of a second floor, as well as first floor walkway. We will use all of this space later on. Followed by more resource gathering, more shaleback and croc fights, which supplied us with much needed experience boost. Once we got back to the shelter, I have started to expand the second floor that will house most of our crafting stations. I guess it is safer than leaving them on the ground, where Purge might annihilate them in no time. This is the part when I run out of resources once again, so skip. What I have to say about the new building system is definitely the ability to remove placed object and recover all of your resources instead of losing most of them, just like in the case of old building system, is a very nice touch. Also, as the bottom layer was originally 3x4, the top is meant to be 5x6, giving us way more space to work with. Once the foundations and ceiling were done, it was time to place back the stairs and decorative/protective fence. This always gives a better sense of security and separates our land from the external world. Once the lower level area was done, it was time to work with the upper level. Same here. Fence serves as a protective barrier for my clumsy ass, as I like to run everywhere, meaning I have a great chance to run off the platform in an expressway straight to the ground. This is where I decided to put the fence away and make a proper entrance to the top level by closing the massive gap and making a small passage. Since it took me a while, I will just skip ahead. And there we go, second level with a little observation tower to check for any nearby danger. Last thing to top it off was the door. It is always nice to have a closed area, which once again gives off a security feel. Nice. Our next goal was to place the bed, so just in case if we get wrecked, we respawn here, not at the starting area. Also, notice how I placed it underneath the stairs. This is going to prevent creeping through low-level ceiling when respawning. You know, just in case. Let us have a look from outside. And here we go. We have a shelter that will stay with us for a while until we need stronger defense in higher tier areas. This is it for now, and I will catch you in the next one. Deynon